For this lesson, let's go ahead and go into Pages on our site. Open up the Bodhi Lighthouse and open up FastNet, those two. Now, we don't have the nav set up for FastNet. We will in a second. Let me show you a different way to do this. We are here. We have this stuff. We could go here. We could begin dragging it in like we did before, and I really don't want to do that, to be honest with you. One alternative is to create something called a snippet. Now, what's a snippet? Let's look. Go up to the word window on the pull-down menu and go down to snippets right here. In snippets, you have all of these code pieces. You have codes for Bootstrap. You have codes for animation and transitions, CSS effects. There's a lot of things going on in here. We may revisit some of that stuff later on in this lesson series. But I want to create a snippet of what I have here so I can use it over and over again. How do I accomplish that? Well, number one, if we go into the snippets panel, down here at the bottom, you have an item to create a new snippet folder. If I'm going to do things for the Lighthouse site, I would like them in a folder so I don't have to go looking for them. So if I click here, I can create a new snippet folder, Lighthouse Snippets, just like that. Now, how do we get anything into Lighthouse Snippets, or how do we make a snippet? Well, you select it over here. We have the padding in all of this stuff. If I hold the Shift key down, I should be able to select all of that stuff. Now, if I come down here and click the plus sign, I can create a new snippet based on what I have selected. We can call this one, I suppose, main nav, main navigation. This name relates to the snippet, so don't worry about what you put in here. In most cases, you do want the snippet to wrap the selection that it's in. You typically wouldn't want to insert it as its own block. So wrap selection is fine. And we can come down here and say, I want to see it as code or as the actual design. Do code. Click OK. Now here it is. Now if I click and drag it, I can drag it up right there. So it's inside of Lighthouse Snippets. And here's the code for it right up here so you can see it. If we go to FastNet Lighthouse, let's come over here and select all the text, press delete, select main nav over here and click insert. There you go. Now the one thing about a snippet that you want to remember, because we're going to talk about library items too, is that once a snippet is deployed into a web page, it becomes a separate item. It's not like a template or anything else. If I come over here, each one of these pieces is separate. It's not connected to anything else. So if I decide to take contact right here, let's go ahead and drag it over to this side and then move one of our spacers between there. So I moved contact and about. If I go back into Bodhi Lighthouse, they're not that way. They're different. In other words, once you bring it out as a snippet, it's all by itself, which is fine. That's what snippets are designed to do. You can have as many as you want. They can be anything you want them to be. They could be text. I could actually select some of the text here and call it a snippet if I wanted to. It could be my footer down here. But understand, once you bring it out, it becomes a separate item. It's not connected to anything else. That's what a snippet is. Let's go ahead and close this one, but don't save it. We're going to come back and do something a little bit better than a snippet for our navigation.